Hello Facebook and YouTube, it is I, Nathan Russell Smith Finley /Evil2 fan, and today I'm going to make this kind of short and strange video. Aside from horror movies, Doctor Who, one of my favorite movies of all time has always been and will always be the Indiana Jones trilogy. I remember distinctly always wanting his fedora. Hello Facebook and YouTube, it is I, Nathan Russell Smith Finley /Evil2 fan, and today, oh boy, today. Okay, so yesterday on my Facebook page, I made a post about how I was getting my new Indiana Jones fedora from the absolutely fantastic people over at Vintage Fedoras. When Indiana Jones gear comes together, it really comes together. Here on my head sits a beautiful Tognarelli Vintage Fedora's Last Crusade. When Indiana Jones gear comes together, it really comes together. Hello my fellow Raiders, Doomers, Crusaders, and Mutts. It is I, Nathan, welcoming you to another edition of Show and Tell Saturday. And what a Saturday this is. I'm very excited to share this all with you. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I've been obsessed with Indy's hat since I started cosplaying as him. And in doing cosplay for as long as I have, starting realistically in 2007, all the way up to now, with a small hiatus in 2011, picking back up in 2014, I have gone through a number of Indiana Jones hats, trying to find the perfect one. In 2015, I felt I had found that with this. Many of you know me through this hat. This is my 80 Vintage Fedoras Junior in a Raiders bash. I have had so many people in this community say, oh, I saw your video and that's what made me want to buy an 80 Vintage, or I know you through this video, and it warms my heart because I thought that that video just reached no one. But there's so many of you in the community who know me through that, and it makes me so happy because that was the first real cosplay video I ever made. And it was about this fantastic hat. And then it just went on from there. I got this beautiful Tognarelli LC, which scratched my LC itch because I just love the Last Crusade fedora. But if you want to hear about this beauty, I already made a video about that, and I'll put it either as a link in the description or one of those weird little things up top. Whatever it is, you can find this. I'm not here to talk about that, but I got that this year. I got this beautiful Akubra from my buddy Morgan Loff, who is also the co-founder and the brains behind the madness of the California Jones Group. This is his old Akubra that he took with him to Germany when he was in university. My God, this is a true indie hat, and it's an Akubra, so it means this is a beater hat. If you want to just take this on a real adventure, go through waterfalls, get dragged underneath a truck, and Akubra is the way to go, because Akubra makes great hats, but that is not what we're here to talk about today. We are here today to talk about my latest score, the ultimate score, the hat. The one I have wanted since I can remember, the one I felt this one was. The one this one is. Ladies and gents of the Indiana Jones cosplay community, or just folks on YouTube who are watching this, I would like to introduce you to my recent score and my favorite hat I have ever owned up to this point. Let me introduce to you the Fedoraiders Truck Chase hat. Now, I cannot tell you how in awe I am at the fact that this is actually on my head, that it's in my collection, in my possession, and that my good buddy Andrew Newell sold this to me. Ooh, doggy. So, what makes this so special for those of you who are not in the know? Especially since there are so many excellent builders who also replicate this hat, like Andrea Tognerelli of Tognerelli Vintage Fedoras, or even Tomas of 80 Vintage, who makes two versions of the Streets of Cairo hat, one with Fuller's Earth and one called the Decent version, which is a clean Streets of Cairo, both of which I've seen, and both of which are very pretty. There's Mikhail Einerson of Hoofed Hat Makers, who makes some very excellent Raiders hats. If you want to see reviews on those, please check out my friends Morgan Loff and Matt Wacker. They have some awesome videos talking about how great Hoofed is. There's David Garrison of Garrison Hats, who makes some very beautiful Raiders hats. I have seen them. They belong to my buddy Trent Ryan, and ooh, those are chef's kiss. Beautiful Raiders hats. There's even Herbert Johnson, who have their own Streets of Cairo hats. So what makes this my end-all be-all? Back in 2014, when I got back into the Indiana Jones cosplay hobby, I actually ran into Jason's eBay page when he was selling the early models of this hat. And I loved them then. Jason just scratches all of the itches I want in a Raiders fedora. Firstly, there's the crown, which is perfectly tall and boxy, like a Raider should, but also has the slight mushroom shaping that the Raiders hat also has. The sweatband in this is not folded, but there is a bump in, you can slightly see, I don't know if you can, but there's a bump in the ribbon that shows up on the actual hat because of the folded sweatband. The brim is just beautifully recreated. He dimensionally cut this so it flanges exactly like a Raiders hat needs to flange, and oh my gosh, I love wearing this. Catching myself in the mirror, seeing my favorite part, which is this part of the brim right here because of how much of a roller coaster it is, it just reminds me why the Raiders hat is the most iconic and the best looking out of the bunch. There's the tight pinch that slightly curves like a Raiders pinch needs to. There's the dimples, the center crease, which has the tightness in the back that a Raiders hat should. He replicated the sweat stains on the ribbon near the sewing points. I don't know if anybody else does that. If any other maker does that, please let me know and I will give them just as much praise as I do Jason. But I don't think I've ever seen anyone else do that. Also, look at how much Fuller's Earth is on this, but how it's not distracting to how beautiful this hat is. It feels like a natural dusting of sand, like Indy's just been out in Cairo digging. It's great. There's even little bits here on the top that feel like, Indy just put his fingers there, putting the hat back on. Oh, I love it so much. The ribbon, of course, is turned. This is my first turned Indy fedora, and I just can't get over it. I love the Raiders turn. There's the fact that he never puts a liner in his hats because that's screen accurate. There's just everything about this hat scratches my itches, my needs of a Raiders hat, and that's why it is my end-all be-all. Also, the color is just, it's kind of close to an Akubra in color, and I like that because I love my Akubra, and I could go on and on. I actually have done 1,000 different takes talking about this hat. Each one of them were just spastic, and you could barely understand what I was saying. This is the first coherent take I've been able to do, but just, this is a perfect Raiders hat in my opinion. For me, it's what I always saw in my mind's eye when somebody said Raiders of the Lost Ark or Indiana Jones. It's just my dream fedora. And I want to take a second to thank my good friend Andrew Newell for selling me this hat. Andy, you have fulfilled a dream of mine, and I cannot thank you enough from the bottom of my heart, dude, thank you. You are a true friend. And with that, I think this concludes Show and Tell Saturday. I'll make videos on all of the hats that you've seen here later, going on in-depth reviews talking about how I acquired them, what they mean to me, how long I wore them, the, evolution of my cosplay with them. But this was just about this. This video was just about my Fedoraiders, how incredible it is to actually get to own this. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.